Take a sip of black coffee. Feel that recoil, that instinct to grimace and swallow fast. That is not you disliking a flavor. That is a 200 million year old alarm system screaming at you that you are about to be poisoned. Your tongue tests every single thing you put in your mouth for signs of death. And most of the time, it decides before you ever consciously taste a thing. Sweet, salty, sour, umami. Four tastes that tell you what is safe, what is fuel, what is worth swallowing. And then there is bitter. Bitter is the only taste that exists to tell you one thing. Stop. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Your tongue does not treat all five tastes equally. You detect all sweetness with essentially one receptor. Savory, one more. But for bitter, for the taste of poison, evolution handed you 25 separate detectors. 25 different detectors, all dedicated to catching one category of threat. And the reason your body invested so heavily in fear over pleasure is a story that gets stranger the deeper you go. Because by the end of this, you'll understand why the taste of poison isn't only in your mouth. It's in your lungs, your gut, and your heart. The bitter detectors are called TAS2R genes. In humans, there are 25 working versions, scattered across chromosomes 5, 7, and 12. Compare that to sweetness, which your body detects with a single receptor type. Think about what that ratio actually means. Evolution decided that finding sugar was a simple yes or no question, but avoiding poison required an entire arsenal. Because in the natural world, most toxins share one chemical signature. Many of the deadliest, strychnine, nicotine, morphine, are alkaloids, compounds hiding inside ordinary-looking plants, and nearly all of them taste bitter. So a creature that could taste bitter could taste death itself, one lick before swallowing it. We were not fast. We were not armored. We could not test a berry in a lab. We had one line of defense, and it sat on the tip of the tongue. In 2003, geneticists identified a single gene called TAS2R38. It controls whether you can taste a specific bitter compound found in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. And here's where it gets strange. Some people carry a version of this gene that makes those vegetables taste mildly earthy. Others carry a version that makes the same broccoli taste harsh, metallic, almost punishing. Same vegetable, same molecule, a completely different experience of the world, decided by a few tiny changes in a single gene. The people who taste it most intensely, often the same people we call super tasters, and their ancestors were likely the ones most protected from swallowing toxic plants. But there was a hidden cost, because the same plants that carry those bitter compounds also carry nutrients. The bitterness in broccoli, in kale, and dark greens comes from the exact chemicals that also fight disease. So every human ancestor was caught in an ancient negotiation. Taste bitterness too weakly, and you might eat something that kills you. Taste it too strongly, and you reject the very foods that keep you alive. Your sense of bitterness is not a flaw, and it is not perfect. It is a compromise, tuned across millions of years, balancing the fear of poison against the need to eat. Every time a child spits out a vegetable, that is not stubbornness. That is an ancient survival program, doing exactly what it was built to do. But here's the part the textbooks miss. For a century, we assumed bitter receptors lived only on the tongue. Then, starting around 2010, scientists went looking elsewhere, and they found them everywhere. They found bitter taste receptors lining your lungs. They found them in your gut, your sinuses, your bloodstream. In 2015, researchers even found bitter receptors sitting on the human heart. These organs cannot taste anything. You will never consciously feel them fire, but they are running the same ancient code, scanning for the chemical signature of invaders that made it past your mouth. When a bitter compound from bacteria drifts into your airway, those hidden receptors trigger your cells to sweep it out. Your poison alarm was never confined to your tongue. Your entire body is lined with tripwires, silently tasting for death in places you cannot feel. Which brings us back to that cup of coffee. The grimace you swallow past every morning is not a preference. It is the ghost of an ancestor who tasted something bitter and lived because they listened. You inherited their fear. You just learned to override it for caffeine. The tongue still calls it poison. You just stopped obeying. And that ability to override an ancient alarm, to crave the very thing your body evolved to reject, is not unique to coffee. It is the same glitch that lets a chemical hijack your reward system entirely. The same glitch that turned a rare survival signal into the most exploited weakness of the modern world.